Hello there, one and all. Welcome to Slapendipity Hobos of Happy Slappy Town. I am Eric, who you may call Eric. And with me is Devon, who you may call Gibby.
Hello, everyone.
Mr. Gibby Devon, sometimes you go about your day. If I understand correctly. You do things.
That is true.
Right.
Yes, sometimes my day has things in it. Most of the time it doesn't, but yes, continue.
Now, do you ever find that when you wake up and you look out your window and then you're like, wow, it's raining, the sky is gray, it's dark, time to go back to sleep or curl up with a book and read or do nothing because it is raining?
When I was a child, I can recall familiar experiences. I will say that in my current house, I believe I've said this before, but my window faces due west. And so I have my shades drawn, blackout curtains over my window, and then like my dresser's in front of my window because like there's a 0% chance of me ever opening it. So I don't have windows. So I've never experienced that. I also have blackout curtains in my office because it's my office and it needs to be light and soundproofed for when I'm filming. And then my bathroom, which is between my bedroom and my office, doesn't have a window. So when I woke up this morning, I saw no outside. I brushed my teeth, saw no outside, walked into my office to sit down on my computer, saw no outside. And maybe like an hour or so into starting my workday, I saw a text from our friend who's like, it's raining real hard in Virginia. And then you were like, yeah, it's raining hard here too. And I was like, is it? And then around 6 p.m., I went downstairs for the first time, and it was no longer raining. And the sun was almost setting. That was the first time I saw outdoors today.
That's crazy. Wild, even.
Yeah.
Lack of wild, even.
Lack of wild. No wild.
No wild.
Now, to be fair, no wild. To be fair, today was a very specific day. I had a prior engagement where I was on a live stream for charity for 5 hours. So like I had to, like there was no like get up and go time. I was like, I'm locked in for 5 hours to be on this call. So today was a little like anti-wild, it was just an anti-wild day.
Sure.
But yeah, typically, that will not happen to me. I will not see weather.
That's crazy. You don't go downstairs to eat and you're like, wow, there's windows and now I know it's raining.
No.
Okay.
I try to put off eating breakfast as long as possible.
Oh. Not even a banana, a strawberry,
No.
a cereal, a water.
No. Water's good, but I have water in my bedroom. I don't have running water. That would be dope. I'd love... I don't even drink coffee, but like imagine having a countertop in your bedroom that had like a soda stream and like a coffee pot and like running water. I guess I'm just kind of like describing a dentist office at this point.
So your ideal house is a dentist office.
There's like a comfy chair to sit in and some running water, yeah. Cabinets.
Yeesh.
And no windows, yeah, dentist office.
My dentist office, well, yeah, they have windows.
Some of mine are like almost underground, so they have basement windows.
Yikes. Or
like the shades are closed because light.
What kind of
but yeah, no.
What kind of dentist you going to that's underground? Devin, how many teeth do you still have? Why are there missing teeth now?
I actually have too many teeth. Not like really, but like my wisdom teeth didn't have problems.
Oh.
So I just have all my teeth. I have the correct number of teeth. I have all of them.
Whoa. So metal.
You got your wisdom teeth taken out, right? I think you talked about
I did, yeah.
Going under for that. Yeah.
Oh, I did not
we talked
go
about
under.
that recently. You didn't? Oh.
No, yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
Because I was like, it's expensive,
you chose not to.
And I would rather feel the pain.
That was probably really stupid.
No, it was really smart because we saved hundreds of dollars, and now I know the feeling. So when I get hurt sometime, I'm like, well, it's not as bad as when I got my teeth taken out.
Okay, that's legit. Because I've had a root canal before, And whenever I get hurt, I am, in fact, always like, well, it's not as bad as a root canal.
There you go. Admittedly, they did give me, Novocaine, which they legally have to give you to numb up your teeth.
Great movie.
So I just felt a bunch of pressure. You say that's a great movie, and that must mean you've seen it.
I have. Before we transition to Novocaine, I do want to say that you're the same person who was like, Devon, I'm willing to spend way more money on plane tickets to Japan if we get the ones with extra leg room. So apparently, extra leg room on a 14-hour flight, worth the money. Knockout gas at the dentist, not worth the money.
Yeah, 100. Yes. I agree. I agree with myself fully. Like, if you're going to be on a plane for 14 hours, it would be nice to recline or sleep in an unweird position or whatever.
So, flying for 14 hours in coach versus getting your wisdom teeth pulled.
Yeah.
Let's pull our audience, guys. Which one would you rather have? Would you rather have your wisdom teeth pulled or have to sit in the economy class seats for 14 hours?
Listen, it's not, I have a decent pain tolerance. I do not. Fine. I think I did annoy the dentist because I was like, I swear I smell smoke. Like, can you stop? Like he was doing so much to my teeth. And at a certain point, he was like, I don't care if you smell smoke. I'm going anyway. I'm like, what?
It's supposed to smell like that. Arguably. So Novocaine, have you heard of Novocaine?
I have heard of Novocaine, the movie. If I'm not mistaken, it's a movie where this guy falls in love at first sight at some woman on the street. She gets kidnapped, and then he can't feel pain, which is like a real condition. Like, there are people that don't have their sense of touch, so they can't feel pain, which usually leads to those people dying earlier in life because they can't touch and they feel no pain. The body does not send receptors to the brain of like, hey, we're in pain, we need to run away, or we need to heal, and like begin the healing process on the damaged body part. And so, if I'm not mistaken, the movie is abusing this factoid of just putting this man in horrible, horrible situations of what I would describe as torture porn from what I've seen from the trailer to save this woman.
Yes, so I think it's very funny, and I think because of his condition, the action is able to be very, like, again, funny, but also, like, creative. So they actually address in the movie that people with that condition usually die young, and so this is a very, like, cautious guy who hasn't really had friends, and he, like, he has to, like, always have, like, sanitizer on him and stuff like that, and he sets his watch for every 2 hours where he has to pee, because if he forgets to pee, then, like, he could get an infection or his bladder could explode.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he's just, like, he's not literally OCD, but, like, the way he lives his life kind of seems like that. Like, he's overly cautious and always has to do the same thing every day and is always on strict timers because his body doesn't communicate to him. So, like, he doesn't eat solid food. He only drinks, like, smoothies because if he eats solid food, he might accidentally bite off his tongue.
Mm-hmm.
So he just kind of seems like a hypochondriac, kind of seems like that kind of trope, but he's not actually. He just has to do that to live. So, yeah, he works at a bank, and he's like a assistant manager or something, and one of the bank tellers is a cutie patootie, and so he, like, asks her out or whatever, and they go on dates, and she's like, you should try pie, and he's like, I cannot eat pie, I might bite off my tongue, and she's like, but it's good, and then he takes a few bites, and he's like, you know what, it is good, it was right to enjoy pie even if I was at risk of maybe biting my tongue off, and, that was in the first, like, 10 minutes of the movie, and you're like, wow, that's gonna be, like, the moral or something, and then she gets kidnapped, and then he has to go save her, and I'm not going to, like, spoil the movie or anything, but if you watch the trailer, you know that there's a scene where he's in a kitchen, and he's fighting off this armed guy, and he goes and he grabs a, like, a burning hot cast iron pan off the stove, and he swings it at the guy, and the big muscular guy, like, grabs it to, stop it from hitting him in the face, but it's burning, So he's like, oh no, now my hands are burning. So he lets go, and then it lets, the main character hit him in the head with a burning pan. And then he knocks the gun out of the bad guy's hand, and the gun falls in the deep fryer. And they keep fighting, and the guy runs over, and he reaches his hand into the deep fryer, pulls out the gun, and shoots the bad guy in the head. And it's like, wow, it's so interesting and cool. Because, like, you can do that because he doesn't feel pain. And then, in the trailer, I'm very glad that they lampshaded this. They have his little guy in the chair, Buddy, who's played by the kid who plays Ned Leeds in Spider-Man. So who's Spider-Man's guy in the chair? He's this guy's guy in the chair. And he goes, just because you don't feel pain doesn't mean you're a superhero. You're not Wolverine. And then it cuts to main character intentionally embedding glass shards in his knuckles while the villain's monologuing over him and, like, about to execute him. And then he turns, and with, all the sharp glass sticking out of his hands, he just starts punching the bad guy, who's also a neo-Nazi, like, in the face. Because, like, now he is Wolverine, because he's got spiky things on his hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, if you like action fighty movies, it's like John Wick, but funny, and there's no dogs that die. I just thought it was very, very
There's no
clever.
dogs that die, but there is a man that brutalizes himself.
But yeah, it's like, it's good. It's to get the girl.
I
thought very, very funny. I don't typically like rated R movies,
uh-huh.
Because I think that they might do, like, I saw, what's the Monkey, the Monkey movie? Garbage. Absolute
Monkey
trash.
movie.
Monkey
Man?
Yeah, it's called The Monkey. It's based, no, it's called The Monkey.
Oh, okay.
It's based on a Stephen King story. It's basically like, there's a monkey, and whenever he claps his hand, someone dies. And it's Final Destination?
A little
Final
bit,
Destination
yeah.
movies? It's literally just like you're watching 2 hours of just like people dying in quote unquote creative ways. And I'm like, okay, but that's stupid. Like I purposefully hate those movies. Even like the Thanksgiving movie that came out a couple years ago. Basically any slasher movie. I hate slasher movies. I think they're stupid. Because some slasher movies make you like care about the victims, right? So when they're being chased by the slasher, you want them to get away. Right? So you're cheering, like, get away, get away, get away. And then sometimes they do get away and sometimes they don't. And you're like, oh man, that was really sad. It's sad that they died. But then sometimes the slasher movie is like, we watched those classic slasher movies where you're cheering for the people to get away, but sometimes they don't and it's sad. And we thought it was really cool how, like, they use practical effects to kill people. So what if we just took away the emotional connection to the people who are dying, and we just made a movie where a serial killer goes around and like kills people or something, and it looks cool.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, that's really stupid and dumb, and I hate that. So yeah, I don't like that kind of movie.
You know what I find interesting about this? You liking Novocaine, the name of the movie we've been discussing. Two things. A, if you want creative action, you can also watch Jackie Chan movies. Because those are creative action movies. B, you liked Fall Guy over Bullet Train because you thought the rating R and the violence and stuff was like took away from the movie, and so you appreciated Fall Guy's PG-13ness because it like it didn't use it as like a crutch, essentially.
Yes.
So it's interesting to hear you go, wow, I sure like this movie all about violence and being rated R.
So, like, what I didn't like... Again, I loved Bullet Train. Bullet Train was great. I just liked Fall Guy more. So those are two movies by the same director with, like, some of the same, like, action kind of ideals. But, like, Bullet Train had a scene where, like, there's this wedding, and it's basically, like, why is the bad guy a bad guy? It's because his wedding got poisoned by, like, a rival drug gang or something. And so there's just a scene of all these wedding guests, like, vomiting and bleeding from their eyes. And I'm like, wow, I didn't need to see that.
But you do need to see this guy stick his hand into deep frying hot oil to get a gun?
Yeah. Yes, because it's cool.
Devon, you understand how those are like similar, if not the same
No,
things,
I don't.
right? Come on.
No, I don't.
Oh.
So there's one guy who's like, he booby-trapped his house because he was about to go and commit, like, the heist or whatever. And so the main character has to break in. So we, the audience, know that the house is booby-trapped, and he doesn't. So he just kind of walks in the door, and he's looking around, and then like he tries to take a step, but he's like caught on something, and so he turns because we're looking at his front, and he turns so that now his side is facing the camera, and we see that what's happened is a big flail
Oh
has
my
fallen from the
gosh.
ceiling and embedded itself in his back, and so he like turns and he's like, "What is that?" And then he tries to like take it out, but like his arms can't reach behind him because like it's hard to reach that spot.
Gosh.
And he's like, what the heck's going on? And like, it's funny. It's
No,
really funny, and it doesn't look painful, and it doesn't like the movie doesn't want you to take it that seriously, but it's still it's. I would say it is sincere, and yet comedic. It is like right, like it's a farce. You know, it's a farcical tale.
Also, just one last thing, because the deep fryer scene, apparently I'm hung up on. Just get, like, a bucket and splash the hot oil at the man. You don't need to dip your entire hand in to get the gun. It's hot oil. Just throw it at him.
So he technically wasn't trying to kill him. He just wanted to point because he needed information out of him. So he wanted to point the gun at the bad guy to like be like, "Tell me where the girl is." But he takes it out and then accidentally fires it into his face. So throwing hot oil at the bad guy was not part of the plan.
But you could throw it at his legs. He'd fall over, and then you can like refill the bucket, and then like trip it onto him. This is very graphic too, but like I don't know. Anyway, maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I'll see what with all your whatever's about it, because I don't know. I guess it's good to hear that like they take it seriously.
It's very sincere. It's a kind of like I like sincerity in movies because I think there are two ways to do insincere, right? There's what I'm going to call like Marvel humor, where it's like, I can't believe that just happened.
Yeah.
You know, like that kind of like we're not really taking this. Like,
oh my gosh, is that a star
I'm trying to take it
exploding? Actually, it's a galaxy exploding.
Womp womp. And then the other kind of not taking it seriously is like when the movie is just so over the top stupid that you're like, okay, like the creator made a story in order to include the things in the movie he wanted to include, as opposed to they wanted to create something and told it in a specific way. You remember what, Baby Driver?
Yeah, I do. Good movie.
Okay. Yeah, so like that movie, obviously the director, whose name I'm blanking on, wanted to have this action movie with fast cars, and especially the big thing about that movie was that basically all of the action was set to the music.
Yes. Yeah.
Even like the opening credits of that movie are incredible because he's just walking down the street and there's just a song playing in the background, but then the words to the song are like in spray paint on the wall or on the street sign or whatever. It's just a really cool, like, I'm not going to say music video because that's kind of what I'm going to try to contrast this with, but just like he wanted to tell the story, and he also wanted to make a movie that was like composed to the music. Like the movie is based on the music. And so he had two really great ideas. He was able to pull off the music thing, and he had a great story to tell with great action and great acting, and he mixed those together to make an incredible product. Would you agree?
Yeah, sure.
All right, and then there's a movie that I forget the name of. It's like Dolls or something. I don't know. Tank Girl? I think it's called Tank Girl, maybe. I don't know. Zack Snyder. It's a Zack Snyder movie. And the whole thing is like it's like a music video. He's like, I want some like hot girls dropping out of an airplane, and then they land on like World War I no man's land, and then like they start like blowing up guys or something, and it's all set to like rock music. And so like he just wanted to make a music video and have it look cool. And so his concept started and ended with, I want to make something look cool that's set to cool music.
Yeah.
So like that's like half of what Baby Driver is. And so to me, that's just kind of not that compelling. Because I'm like, okay, yeah, you set some cool visuals to some cool music, but like, you forgot to make the movie around those things.
Yeah, you just had cool stunts and actions and visuals. That's how I feel.
Yeah, so to me, like the Monkey or Final Destination or whatever, to me, it's like, okay, you had some really cool kills, and then you forgot to make the movie around them.
I see. Okay. So how many stars would you give Novocaine?
I think I give it 3.5 or 4. I don't remember. I think 3.5 out of
Okay,
5.
okay. And do you feel the need to take Novocaine? Did their
Like,
subliminal
because
messaging work?
of...
Are you now looking for
No.
Novocaine?
No, I didn't walk out of the movie going, wow, I really couldn't use numbing my face right now and, like, not being able to talk right.
Mm-mm. Well, that's good. That's good. You know, it's overrated. Overblown.
Okay. What's your plan for this coming week? What are you planning on doing?
Well, you know,
Anything fun and exciting?
I don't want to give away too much, because if I don't do the thing, then, like, next episode people will be mad. But you see that there Mickey 17 movie?
I do see that there Mickey 17 movie.
It looks that pretty nice. It's interesting. I don't know.
It was interesting.
Wait, did you see it?
Mickey 17?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that 2 weeks. I saw Mickey
What?
17 2 weeks ago, and I saw Novocaine last week, and then I'm going to see the Looney Tunes movie this week.
And you didn't talk about it? What the heck?
No.
Was it good?
You didn't ask. Yeah, I liked it.
Okay.
It had some pretty major flaws, I think, but I liked it. Like, it was no... Did you watch Parasite?
Yes.
Loved Parasite. It was not as good as Parasite. Same director. Not as
Okay.
good as Parasite.
Huh. I feel light too.
Robert Pattinson's good. Why?
I don't know.
You expect me to, like, hit up the group chat and be like, guys, Mickey 17, above average.
That's what I do when I play and watch things. Sometimes.
Sometimes. Exactly. Sometimes.
Yeah.
I've been telling you guys, like, hey, you should watch
Andor.
Severance.
Oh.
Hey, you should watch Daredevil. Hey,
Whoa.
like, yeah, you need to watch. I mean, everyone should watch Andor.
I do watch Daredevil.
Yeah, then no one does.
I
You're watching Daredevil Born Again right now?
I have not watched that one yet. But I did watch the first, I don't know, iteration of Netflix's
The first
Daredevil.
3 seasons from 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they were good.
Yeah.
But no, this new one is also... It's like, I don't know, it's a really good show.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad that it's on.
For a second, I thought you were going to say it's really bad, and I was going to be really sad. I think Charlie Cox is a really good Matt Murdock.
Yeah, no, he's like... Genuinely, some people are like, I could never see another person playing this role. And I'm like, really? Like, that guy? Okay. Like, anyone who's like... not to, like, get into the whole stupid Harry Potter casting debate, but anyone who's like, I could never see someone besides Alan Rickman being Snape. I'm like, really?
Lols.
Okay. But yeah, no, dude, Charlie Cox is Matt Murdock. Like, I will never accept another Matt Murdock. He is just perfect.
Good for him. Good for him.
Yeah, no notes. He's supposed to be a redhead, but besides that, no notes.
Yeah. I don't... Is he blind? I don't know. I don't think so.
The actor?
The actor.
No, he's not. He's just really good at acting.
You were like, well, he's supposed to be a redhead. And in my head, I'm like, he's also supposed to be blind.
But, like, the character is supposed to be a redhead.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I'll watch some of those things for my week.
That's good.
What did it sounded like you were trying to bait me into something though?
No, I just had nothing to say, and I was trying to put the ball in your court.
Oh, I see.
I could talk about I could talk about what I did that technically you were also present for.
I mean, if you'd like, I have I haven't done things yet. I've been going to the gym, and I found someone at the gym who is like, "Oh my gosh, you like anime? I like anime. Oh my gosh!" And
what?
He's like, "Yeah, I only have one friend out of my entire friend group that like watches anime and likes it. The rest of them think it's lame. So it's cool that I get to talk to it with you." And I'm like, yeah, it's cool talking anime with you. And he was like, "What? What if we started like an anime book club and you like picked an anime, and I picked an anime, and we watched them and talked about them. And I'm like, yeah.
You just made a gym friend that easy?
Yes and no.
What's the no? What do you mean yes and no?
I gotta keep the mystery alive.
I am confounded by how this could have worked.
But so, tomorrow will be our first anime book club meeting, so... We didn't agree on, like, how many episodes to watch, though. So I've only watched 4, and I'm like, I don't want to forget the beginning, but, like, I don't know how much he's watched. I might go into...
What show?
Samurai Champloo.
Short Gesundheit.
Thank you. It's, like a... like, it follows this trio of, like, 2 Ronin warriors and a girl, and the, like, overarching plot is, like, the girl saves the 2 guys, and she's like, now you have to help me find and get revenge on this samurai that smells like sunflowers, and they're like, okay, you saved their life, sure. But it's like, it's very, like, aesthetic. Like, it's very, like, hip-hop and kind of funky. And, like, one of the main guys, what's his name? Mugen? He, like, break dances in sword fights. It's really cool. It is a little graphic and bloody. Not, like, so much, but, like, a guy loses an arm on screen. But it's, like, came out in late 90s, early aughts, I think. It's very fun.
Are you, like, you're meeting up in person? Like, you're going to, like a book club bar or something?
No, we're going to the gym.
Oh, okay. So you're going to be working out while talking about anime.
Yeah.
So basically you're like, okay, between gym sessions, we're just going to watch the same show.
Yes. And then during the gym sessions, we talk about the anime, the show. But we didn't establish, like, oh, I'm super busy this week, I can only watch this many episodes. Or, oh, I'm actually really free, I can watch, half of it. We didn't think that far ahead, so we'll see.
How old is this fella?
21. Young 20s.
Does he not have any friends that he can watch anime with?
He has the one.
You?
No, someone else. Like he has one other friend.
That's very sweet.
He has one of his own friends, and then we started talking about it, and he was like, I don't know this other friend. Maybe he's busier. I don't know. Maybe he's not as into it. I shrug. So, a lot of anime people go to gyms now, I think.
Okay. Because you gotta get stronger. You gotta be the Goku that you want to see in the mirror.
That's right. You are the future of the spirit bomb.
Indeed. I have a story to tell you.
A story to tell me, and only me?
A story to tell you. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, a story to tell you. Once upon a time, I invited you to go somewhere.
Whoa.
Do you remember this?
No, sounds fake.
Okay, so for our audience, because you were there.
I don't know.
We have a friend. This is the same friend who I've talked about going out to Apple Baffles and getting pretzels with like 1,000 times.
Yes.
So he is very, very busy. And so he has decided that what he wants to do is he wants to combine holidays and special events and birthdays and whatever into quarterly meetups. So about once a season, on the equinoxes and solstices, he wants to have a get-together with all of his friends. So there could be like 10 people in a room, and he's like, okay, whoever's birthday it was, happy birthday. It was my birthday, everyone say happy birthday to me. It was Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day and Christmas, so happy those things. Let's just hang out, let's do stuff. So basically, we were invited to this spring equinox party, and we went, and there were people from the movie theater we used to work at, and there was this guy's like other job coworkers, and then there were friends of people that we knew, and it was just a big, cool, nice time. We were in this like big meeting room. There was a disco ball. We were all yapping, had some food. How would you describe the experience, Eric?
It was fine. It was just like a get together of different people. You know, like your work friends, your friends, your neighbor friends, and all of them in one place. And then there was naturally some awkwardness because, like, hi, who are you? Oh, I'm his neighbor. Oh, hi, who are you? Oh, I'm his old coworker from like 4 years ago. Oh, okay, cool.
But don't you think there's some sort of magic in that?
I suppose. I mean, it was nice. It was, you know, it was a... I mean, I've never done it before, so it's creative. But also, like... I mean, it also clearly worked, so whatever. To an extent. I think some people didn't show up. And again, it was nice. I don't have any, like, negative things to say about anyone or the time.
On a scale of 1 to 10...
But part of me is like, how busy are you that you just, like, can't remember people's birthdays? Or, like...
Well, that I think that's an unfair, characterization of it. It's not that he can't say happy birthday to people. It's that if I'm like, hey, buddy, me and 6 friends are going out to dinner on Tuesday, can you come? His answer is 99% of the time going to be no, because he can't, because he's actually busy.
Right.
Yeah, so he has many jobs. He has lots of stuff going on, lots of responsibilities.
Sure.
But yeah, I thought there was some sort of like, an interesting amount of magic to it, where I'm like, I don't know these people, but like, they talk to our friend the way that I talk to our friends, and I'm like, it's so weird to think that like, I think I have this really close bond with this person, and he has that same bond with people who I've never met. Like, what a weird thing,
yeah. People are people and have relationships with people. No one's special.
Yeah, interesting.
No one's special and everyone is special.
Everyone is special. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I don't know. I was, yeah.
So, at the end of the event, to celebrate the upcoming Easter, one of the things that a friend wanted to do was have everyone write like affirmations and like good luck messages inside of plastic Easter eggs.
Yes.
And then pass them out. And he knows he should have gotten a basket. That was his original plan, but we ended up just with like sleeves of dollar store Easter eggs and slips of paper. And so like this is something that he had told me weeks and weeks ago that like he wanted to do. So when it happened, I was prepared for it. Were you prepared for this event? Because I don't remember telling you that was a thing that was going to happen.
You were like, hey, come to this event, pretty please. And I said, okay. And that was it.
Yeah, so I had some prepared statements. Things like, have a good day or else. Or, just remember you're never alone. Because, spiders are always 6 feet away from you. Right? Like, those are the kind of things that, like, goodness. I wrote. It was just, like, little, like, the Instagram meme of, like, where, like, they'll take, like, a picture of raccoons or possums or something. And they'll have, like, an uplifting message that's also kind of, like, ironic.
Sure.
So those are the kind of things I had prepped in my head. Those are what I wrote in the eggs. I gave everyone eggs randomly. And, like, that's what I did. But you, I think, took it more personally.
Oh, yeah. I was like, in my head, I was like, great. Now I have to come up with sincere affirmations for everyone. And I did not know everyone. So, I don't know. Part of it was just going off of looks. Like, there was one person there that had, like, a Mickey Mouse hat and a Mickey Mouse, like, denim coat thing, and I was like, that's cool and fun. I forget what it was exactly, but like, oh, I like your Mickey Mouse outfit, and it's really fun. Or for one person was like super goth with a lot of piercings and dyed hair, and I was like, I like your sense of style. It's super cool, or something like that. So I just did that for everyone, except for you and the person I knew because I knew them. So they were a bit more personalized. And then I got home and I read one of mine and someone wrote, "You sound kind." And I was like, damn, that's so sweet. Here I was complimenting people on their appearances or their, like, fashion.
Yeah, but I think that those things are very, very kind. Like, I think getting that would be very cool.
Yeah, so that's... I did one for everyone. I think I took the longest, and I couldn't help but notice I only got 2. Not everyone did it. Which, to an extent, fair. I do think that's a little... It's asking not too much, but it definitely is asking something of, like, okay, will you compliment these strangers that you've hung out with for 2-3 hours? And it's like, okay, I guess so.
So I saved opening any of my eggs until right now.
Oh my gosh.
So I just opened the first one, and it says, "You are a great at naming movies," smiley face.
Okay. We played that Blockbuster game.
Yes, we played the Blockbuster game, which is basically you split into teams, and you have to do, like, charades and, like, some movie quote stuff. So I'm guessing this was the guy who we were playing against, because he was very much like, I like movies. And then, like, me and him were facing off each other each round, and so we're like, wow, this is, like, cool. Very good sport. Seemed like a very nice gentleman. Never met him before that night. But I'm guessing that was his message.
Or it could have been our teammate. But I would agree it was probably maybe his.
Based on the handwriting, I'm going with the guy. One is just a picture of Trollface.
Okay.
I think I know who drew that, and he was just kind of drawing stuff. One of them says, "See you in Japan."
That wasn't me.
That was not you.
That was not me.
Okay, so one of the guys that we're going... The guy who threw the whole party is also going to Japan around the time that we are. And so I think that he wrote this. It was like... Because we're theoretically going to be in Tokyo in the same time period, possibly. Like, our trips might overlap. So I think he wrote "See You in Japan," and then he drew a little stick figure, so that's pretty cool. One of the better handwritings... They drew a little, like, derpy smiley face where, like, the pupils are looking in the same direction, like, in the middle, and wrote, "I would go to Japan with you."
Who could have wrote that?
And, was that you?
I don't know, was it?
It doesn't look like your handwriting. I also don't know your handwriting.
That's right.
Was it you?
I'll never tell.
Oh my gosh. But there were multiple people there who were like, wow, it's cool. Like, Japan is neat. So, like, it could have been any of them. But yeah, then the last one. The last one is the one that has me confuzzled. Okay, so, for context, for people listening, I'm releasing new merchandise on my Five Nights at Freddy's channel. And so I just got it in the other day. And one of the pieces of merchandise is a hat. And the hat is a parody of the Atari logo. And it says Aftari, like William Afton. So it's the Aftari 8500. And so I wore that hat. Now, a couple people who were there know that I have a YouTube channel where I talk about FNAF. Basically, like, the guy who's running it, and then one of our coworkers, and then the guy who's running its friend, who we've just hung out with a couple times. So, besides you, Eric, I'd say 3 other people there knew about my FNAF channel. So this drawing on the slip of paper inside my egg is a picture of Shaggy from Scooby-Doo wearing a Spring Bonnie costume, removing the helmet, and looking all evil at the camera.
Okay.
So, so the joke is that it's Matthew Lillard playing William Afton from the movie. So I don't know who drew this.
Yeah, that who knows?
It could have been one of the people who knew. It could have been someone who saw my hat, but then decided not to say anything about it, but did draw me this picture, and I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
That's right. It could have been me. I mean,
No,
no.
you can't draw like this.
Whoa! I could try. I can't.
But yeah, those were my spring equinox affirmations.
Wow, that's beautiful. I think. Sometimes. I did write the one that was I would go to Japan with you.
And so you drew the little derpy smiley face?
Yeah.
Okay, that's funny. I guess I don't know your handwriting, or maybe because you were writing in colored pencil on a note card.
It could be anything.
It looks a little weird. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had a nightmare.
A nightmare?
A nightmare about our plane journey.
Oh, no.
Again.
Oh, no.
I'm just having stress dreams about being on board the plane, and it wasn't anything like too bad. It was basically just like we're on the plane, and then like I woke up and I'm like, oh wait, I just dreamed that I was on the plane for 2 hours, but the plane ride hasn't even actually started yet. And then like I'd roll over and then I'd have another dream, and I'd think it felt like 2 hours, but like then I'd wake up and I'd be like, oh no, the plane ride hasn't even started yet, and that is a kind of torture.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like if you ever had the dream where like you wake up and then you go to school and then you're at school and then you wake up for real.
Yeah, I hate those
like,
dreams.
Wait, like I have to actually go to school now, but like it felt like I already did that. So like, do I get time back?
I had a dream recently where
do I get paid for those dreamed hours?
Lols. I lost my front center tooth, and I hated it.
Teeth dreams suck.
Teeth dreams suck. Now, I can't speak on teeth dreams, but I saw a post a long time ago that was like, do you think the fact that it's almost a common experience for everyone to have stress/nightmare dreams about school means we're doing something wrong with school? And I was like, yeah, wait a second. This person's onto something.
Yeah, I saw something recently where someone was like, if your child comes home from school and they ask to like sit alone in their room for like an hour to unwind, then like maybe there's something like wrong with the school system. And I'm like, that's what I did. I'd come home from school and my mom would like be like, we'll do this, and I'm like, or like do your homework, or like we're going here. I'd be like, please, I just want to like lie down in the dark for a little while. Like that was just like my experience at school. But now I'm like, yeah, if my kid acted like that, I'd be like, there's something wrong with the school if kids are like at 4 p.m. have to like take a nap. Like that's so uncool.
Yeah.
It's so unhealthy. Like they're too stressed. Also, if you're still in school, just don't listen to this part. The fact that school is completely meaningless and doesn't actually mean anything, if people are still stressed about like tests and homework and stuff, like that's definitely way more detrimental to your health than the stress is good, right? Like people with like panic attacks over like high school biology tests.
Right.
Like that's so unhealthy.
Yes.
Especially since the test is completely meaningless.
I mean, I wouldn't, I didn't...
Completely meaningless.
I didn't go the, like, science routes or anything, but presumably the stuff you... Like, I took years of Spanish. I can speak a little. Presumably, if I went to college for furthering my Spanish, that would have been a foundation. But yeah, overall, yeah. My
experience, especially, like, so let's take foreign languages, right? So I took French for 2 years in high school, and then I had to take it for 2 semesters in college, because you have to take it for 2 semesters. But I started at the 0 level class, so basically I took the class that said, you've never taken this language before, so starting from the basics.
Right.
So in those 2 semesters at college, I relearned everything I'd learned in 2 years in high school, plus some, like those 2 years and beyond, So I learned more in college than I did in high school in 1/4 of the time. 1/3 of the time, arguably.
Wow.
Or no, wrong way. 1/6 of the time, arguably. So I would say that's like, oh man, if you're going to be a biologist, you better pay attention in freshman year of high school biology. It's like, no, 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 no. 4 years from now, when you're in college, taking advanced biology, if for some reason you missed one of these lessons, you will in fact learn it again and learn it more correctly this time.
I guess. I shrug. I didn't. That's yeah, probably. You should still do well and stuff. But also, like, in that sense, it's maybe useless, but it's also about, like, socializing and learning critical thinking and, like, whatever.
I'm specifically talking about, like, the panic attacks and stress that young people have about their grades.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, that's borked. My high school ex, or maybe it was a friend, I don't know, if they got, like, I think a C, and they just cried for all of lunch, and their day was completely ruined. And I was like, don't do that. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Also, I get C's all the time. It's fine. You don't need straight A's. It kind of helped.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen from the headlines recently, but this kid is trying to sue the state or like their school or something because like they graduated from high school, but they're like illiterate, and they're basically like, I should have been held back. I should not have been given B's and C's to pass my tests. Like, the fact that I managed to make it all the way through school and I'm this stupid is like a failure on the system's part. Like, clearly you guys are just passing kids through because it makes the school look better to have like a higher graduation rate. So like the school system's failed me. And so I'm not like, yeah, grades don't matter. You can just do nothing and be stupid and get by. I'm like, no, 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 no. What I mean is failing a physics test does not mean that you're stupid, and it's not going to stop you from getting whatever job you want, unless that job is to be a physicist. And if your desire is to be a physicist, then you can just make up that work when you're in physicist school. Because I guarantee that the person teaching you, your high school physics teacher, is probably just an average Joe.
Dang.
With no, like, smart... You're not being taught by Einstein, right? You're being taught by, like, a middle-aged man who's like, yeah, I can do some high school level math, I guess, and on a chalkboard. And then your curriculum is being made by some, like, you know, invisible person at, like, your state. It's like, I'm going to make a curriculum. What if today they learn about centrifugal physics courses, whatever. Centrifugal. Those are different things.
Oh, actually?
Centrifugal and centrifugal are different forces.
Oh, I didn't know centrifugal was
you didn't pass high school physics, yeah.
I did.
So, like, I'm not saying school is BS, you can be illiterate. I'm saying if you're such a good student that you're going to cry because you didn't get an A, you're probably doing good enough, and you're fine.
Oh, yeah. I agree. No, I think it's crazy that is normal, or like a stereotype. You know, like Breakfast Club? I've never watched it, but like, you know, a bunch of kids did get detention, and they're all like portraying stereotypes, like the jock, the nerd, the goth, the, you know, whatever. And I, again, haven't watched it, but I would imagine there's like a prep kid. But now if we were to remake The Breakfast Club, there would be like the prep kid, but there would also be the straight A student that would cry at getting a C, or even a B.
The nerd.
No, but it's like the nerd to the extreme. Like, it's so insane that, like, we're just like, yeah, it's okay that this child is having breakdowns because they didn't get a perfect thing. Which I guess is also kind of on the parent. Because, you know, they should help with that. Maybe it's a deeper thing.
Yeah, I saw something that was like, you know, kids who are continually told that they're smart stop trying to do new things out of fear of not being, like, immediately good at them. because they're so used to being praised that to do something difficult that might result in them being like critiqued, is like too risky, so they don't, and then they plateau. And I'm like, wow, you're right. I should just call my kid an idiot like all the time.
No, don't do
You
that.
know. Yeah. Did you because you went to a different elementary school than me?
Yeah.
In a different state. Did you guys have like gifted and talented?
What do you mean? Like as classes?
Like a program?
No.
Yeah, like the gifted and talented program.
Not to my knowledge. I mean, I didn't super pay attention to that stuff because I was like 10 or younger. But no, I don't think so. It was, I think I've said before, it was like K through 8, and you just were in whatever grade.
Yeah, so we had basically like during the day they'd be like, okay, 5 smart kids from this class, we're going to the gifted and talented room, and then those kids would get pulled out, and then the rest of us would have to be in the room and like do the real course where they learned ? And then when I was in 4th grade, my teacher was like, Devon, you're going with the gifted and talented kids. And I'm like, okay. And so I went with them for like 5, I think it was maybe like once a week. So I guess I went with them for like 5 or so weeks. I don't even remember what we did there. I just remember there were 6 of us in a room, and the teacher would be like, blah, blah, blah. And we'd like, blah, blah, blah. We were doing like more like logic puzzle things as opposed to like basic math. But my experience with this group is that the people who were in the program were people with affluent parents. Their parents were involved in the school board, or they held like local political office, or they were just like very involved in their children's lives, or they were they were wealthy, or they were like lawyers, or they were like whatever. So like, you watch the movie and there's like the nerd kid who's like, I want to do well in school. And then there's like the kid with like the rich parents, and it's like this program is for like the kid with the rich parents, right? Like I don't know, it just kind of felt to me being amongst those people, and then for the rest of our time in school, going to like middle school and then high school with those people, these were not the smart kids. These were the annoying snobby kids. And so I'm like, what were the, how did you get into this program? Because my backwards engineering must be that parents go to the school and say, my kid's really smart, I want to put them in the program. And then the school gives them a test, and if they pass the test, then they get put in the program. Which to me means that there are plenty of kids who were smart, especially smart enough to be in the program, but whose parents never said, let's test my kid, and thus who never got to be in the program. It was only people whose parents like thought highly of their children, and were like, my kid is special, he should be in the special class, who then got to be in the special class. That was my experience. And I don't know, I kind of felt like, I'm trying to think of like an example of like a movie or whatever, but like, the only example I can think of is Goblet of Fire, but that's not like real, where it's like, we only choose 3 kids, and then they're like, oh, but you 4th kid, you get to be in there too, but you're the underdog. I don't know, like maybe the Hunger Games, where it's like we only get 2 kids, and then one of them dies, you're like, okay, you're the new one. I don't know, but I felt like an imposter. I felt like I'm not supposed to be here, but I have to be.
You peeked behind the curtain.
Because someone believed in me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I remember moving to Jersey and going to Jersey schools and like, not all of the kids were in homework, like, in the same class. Like, you'd have the gifted kids going to whatever smart classes. You had, like, the kids that struggled, so they went to
needs,
remedial, or I think it's not ESL. Your thing, and it's like, there's all these kids, and we all go to we're in the same grade, but like they're being pulled away into mysterious rooms.
We were. I don't know if you went through this, but when, so the word, and I'm going to use the word in its proper context, but the word retarded used to be like a diagnosis of someone's like, intelligence, as much as you can like do that, right? People are like, oh, this person is mentally slow,
Mm-hmm.
and so their development is slowed, because that's what retard means, right? It's literally French. And so, like, for a while, that was, like, the word, and then that became offensive, and so, like, since then, there's been a bunch of, like, different ways of creating a term for people who are special needs. And so when we were young, people were in special education classes, and so special education was, like, the term for people with special needs, or with this. I think the term now is intellectually disabled or something.
I don't know.
When I was in college, I was told that the politically correct term was intellectually disabled, or ID. And then throughout because I was going to be a teacher, so I went to teaching college. And then throughout my time in college, people would be like, yeah, my kids are going around, making fun of other kids by calling them ID. So, like,
Yeah.
changing the word every couple of years isn't really changing the fact that kids will always tease other kids by calling them stupid, by calling them the phrase we used for this group of people. So I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
But, like, when we were in elementary school, the term was special education, and so the quote-unquote insult was calling people SPED.
Mm-hmm.
SPED, special education, which was like, originally it's like the sign on the wall said SPED, because it was a special education room. And then kids started calling other kids SPED as an insult, because it means stupid. So then they had to change the name of the program. And so as a kid, I'm like, so you're telling me one year that this is the official term, and then the next year you're saying it's inappropriate and not to say it. Like, this is some BS.
Because the words change too much? Or
yeah, and like as a kid, I was told, like, hey, the word, saying the word retarded is like an insult or whatever is extremely inappropriate. It's like cursing. Don't do that. It's very rude.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I will not do that. And they're like, okay, these are the SPED kids. I'm like, yeah, got it. Those are the SPED kids. And then the next year they're like, did you just say SPED? That word is highly offensive. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You just said that was the right word to use.
Well, a lot happens in a year.
Yeah, and I'm exaggerating a little, saying it was 1 year.
Sure,
It probably would have been over the course of, like, just being in elementary school. But yeah, no, that was, I don't know. We also had, like, a music thing. Like, sometimes kids would be pulled out of the classroom to, like, go do music, because, like, they played instruments. And I did not do an instrument, so I was never one of those kids. But that was also a thing that happened.
Yeah. There's a lot of instances where kids get pulled out of class for literally anything, and you're just like, what's going on? What's happening? I want to be nosy. What's up?
Yeah, and it really makes it seem like, like your quote-unquote normal classes should be like the education that people are expected to get. But if you can be pulled out of that to go and do something else, like learn an instrument or take, like, a higher education learning, then clearly what you're doing in your quote-unquote normal class can't be all that important.
Balls. Yeah. This is why the best classes were PE and lunch. You got to just exercise and sometimes play games, and then you get to eat and socialize and hang out with your friends.
Well, yeah, that's why I never liked PE as much as I liked recess. Because at PE, there was, like, a game you had to play, and, like, you can play it wrong. But at recess, there was no playing it wrong.
Well, sure, but they also stopped giving you recess because they hate children and fun. And then they call it, like, IRT or study hall or
individual responsibility time.
I thought it was
independent
research time.
Independent research time, IRT, yeah.
Which,
basically study hall.
If you're...
Or break.
yeah, but if you, like, hang out in the cafeteria, because that's where you're supposed to hang out, then the lunch ladies are short-staffed, and they're like, you want to help us? We can't pay you, but you'll get free food. And you're like, free food? Okay.
Ooh, this is illegal child labor.
Ooh.
Laws were passed to prevent this from happening, because they didn't want kids dying in the mines, but I'll do it.
I don't know any better. I want food. And then you guys would be like, oh, Eric, did you get us free food?
I have never done that.
You 100% did.
I've never once asked you that. Nope, never. Never, ever, ever.
Because it was you and another friend, and we had the same time, and I would work in the cafeteria, and you guys would do whatever, study or play games or just talk or whatever. And I would sometimes, like, get ice cream or something, and if it wasn't you, it was him. But I could have sworn it was both of you at one point, being like...
Are you talking about George?
Yeah. Can I have
me, you,
ice
George.
cream? I want ice cream. Can you go get some for me?
Never. I've never eaten one... I think I had pizza from our school before, but like we don't make the pizza. They just kind of buy it and then sell it back to you.
Yeah.
But I've never had any food that was made in our high school cafeteria.
No, it wasn't. But well, I guess it depends what you mean. But like the frozen, like the Twix ice cream and that's what you guys would ask for, or at least him.
I don't recall.
It wasn't like actual food. It was only just like a Choco Taco or the Twix bar.
Oh God, I miss Choco Tacos.
Yeah, and then I would get like free food during lunch. You always gotta have an in. That's the real thing school taught me. If you have enough connections, you can get what you want.
You get all the free food.
And that's all I wanted.
And you know what you didn't do after high school? You didn't go to college, so you didn't need to do all that physics. But you know what you did do after school? You were a cook.
No,
You were a line cook.
That was so many years later.
But it was after high school, so technically
it was after high school, but that's so misleading. I worked in the warehouses. I went to the mines, basically. Not actually. Gosh, I hope people still aren't going to the mines. Maybe that was a mean joke. I went to the warehouses, though.
The modern day mines, if you will.
The modern day mines. There we go.
The Amazon. I know it wasn't literally an Amazon warehouse, but the Amazon warehouse is the new coal mine.
Yeah, I kind of think so. Yeah.
Wow. Do you have anything else to say about
school?
Whatever we talked about. School, spring equinoxes, bad dreams, the dentist. Movie recommendations.
Could you imagine going to the dentist, falling asleep, having a nightmare about school where you lose a tooth during the spring equinox? That would be horrible.
There was a character in Severance who, I don't know if you know the concept of the show.
I know the premise,
basically, yeah, they can split off your brain.
Yeah.
So that like, oh, when you enter this room, you're this personality. When you leave, you're this
You
personality.
have an Indian and outie.
Yes, and so the person doesn't want to experience the pain of going to the dentist. So their innie, they switch to the innie when they go to the dentist. So the innie's entire life is just going to the dentist. And then they leave the room and disappear. And then they wake up and they're back at the dentist 6 months later. But to them, no time has passed. And so it's literally just the dentist.
That's weird and crazy and kind of creepy.
Horrific.
That's the part of the show. That bad, though. Especially if you're taking care of your teeth.
For me, right, watching the show, I'm like, well, it is an interesting thought. You know, would I do this to not have to experience work? Obviously, it depends on what the work is, right? But then that example, I'm like, oh, now I get it. No, Severance is evil.
It is. I'm surprised that's what's got you there as opposed to the premise. What's that? You're gonna split me in half? No. No.
Well, the idea would be like, oh, you can compartmentalize.
No.
Home is home and work is work.
So many red flags go up immediately from, oh, we'll hire you, but you can't know that you work here, and we're basically going to create two people out of you.
I just mean in the real world, if our job at the movie theater, if they said we're going to sever you, I might have thought like, what an interesting proposal. It would have ended up being a bad thing because obviously what's super helpful about a job like that is like you become friends at work and then you can hang out after work and be friends.
And then you wouldn't have spring equinox parties to go to.
Yeah, exactly. But let's say it was a job that was like slightly more annoying. Right. I just think it would be a little different if the job wasn't run by like an evil cult that sacrificed like animals and whatever.
Couldn't be me. I'll try a teleportation machine maybe, but I'm not severing myself.
No, absolutely not. That's just killing you.
Yeah, and recreating you.
Yeah, but that's not you then. That's a clone of you.
What's the difference, Devon?
What's the difference between you and a clone of you?
No. What if you're gonna make an innie and an outie of yourself and you're two different people? How is that different from making a clone of you?
because your body stores your consciousness.
Okay. But you don't...
Losing if I lose my memories, I still have one soul. If you kill me and then reassemble a clone over there, that's not me.
I don't know. That's also only one method of teleportation. But, maybe we'll find the good one that doesn't destroy and recreate your cells.
The good one is wormholes, where you just bend reality.
Yeah, bend space.
That's good. It's good.
Make make 300 miles turn into 5 feet.
Exactly, that's the good kind.
Yeah, I'm all for that. That also has so many more terrifying implications, though, because you're messing with space as opposed to just messing with the body of an individual.
Yeah, someone should write a book about that or something. I don't know. Not specifically about that, but in which that is an important element. Someone should write a book like that.
Did you write a book like that?
Yeah, you've read my book like that, Eric.
Oh. Huh.
I can't tell if you don't remember or if you're doing a bit.
Initially, I forgot. And when you were like, "Oh, someone's read a book about that," I'm like, "I don't know, Stephen King, I guess." What?
No, I use returning library books by teleportation as a metaphor for a child realizing that all the structures of society are just BS and based on nothing, and that the whole world is basically duct taped together.
Whoa.
It's
almost like you should publish your book.
Yeah, I wish. I'm waiting for some other people to read it. And they're not. They're being lazy.
Maybe we could make a Patreon about it and people could have access to it if they were super fans.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, thank you.
Oh.
Absolutely no.
No, I think maybe just...
What they can do... What they can do is they can wait until it's published and then buy it and read it.
Oh. Well, until that day, this day is over.
Until that day, yes, I'll just keep complaining about it. On the next episode of Slapendipity, Hobos of Happy Slappy Town.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.